And welcome back to Terraria Blue Mage playthrough. Now, you may have immediately noticed a couple things. One, where's Orbo? He asked for a little bit of time off. He said he has something he wanted to do, so I figured today's episode would be a good time for him to take a break. The reason for that is because today I'm just showing off what I did off camera. Now, you might be asking also, where's Blue? Well, he's currently busy farming up a Bezoar, failing to do so. So instead we have our collector friend here give a tour of what I've been up to. Now you may have immediately noticed something's different. That's right, this is where the guide's house used to be. Instead I have this little, platform, little landing area for wherever you spawn in. And if I zoom out, you can see I've been busy doing work. So the first thing I did was, consolidate all my inventory to a few chests. In fact, I think it's only 5. That way, guess what? It makes it easier going forward to manage my inventory. If I wait till I have so many chests, then it becomes impossible. So you might be asking what happened to the guide. I will show you in a little bit. 1 second. And we're back. Sorry about that. Orbo interrupted me. But don't worry, he's fine. Just has a project he's working on. Anyways, as I was saying, you may have noticed the guide's house is no longer here. I moved it. Where? I'll show you in a little bit. But first, I want to show you that I moved our arena to this nice open area next to the giant tree. Why? Because this is going to be my battlefield area. Which I'll explain later, but it's basically just my arena. Next, I filled in the tree because it's now a dividing area between this area, the arena, and this area, which is going to be my hallowed biome area. For, the hallowed biome, whatever. But now for the main thing, you can probably already see the house. Yeah, I went a little crazy trying to figure out a house. I thought, okay, what if I just did a basic house? That's what the guide has. Like, okay, what if I theme it around blue? I ended up with a slime house that was 50 shades of blue. That didn't work for me. Instead, I decided to do something I've always wanted to do but never did. I made a house out of dynasty wood. And honestly, I went for like a pagoda style house. I kind of like it. Mainly because I took some risks and I just noticed I missed a painting. But in case you're wondering, these aren't missing walls. I painted them with echo paint, which makes them look invisible. Creates a different type of wall look. I got a bed here, so, when it comes to passing time, it's easier. And then I painted it blue and white because that's the color scheme of the Blue Mage. I'm kind of proud of this house, and I left the top a little bit weird, so if I want to add a few more levels on, I can. Don't know what I'll do with it in the future, but it's better to have pre-planned space. And honestly, I think it looks good on the minimap. And if we go over here to the left, we have this big blank area, which I'm thinking about turning into a storage depot. Which means a lot of iron, blocks, bricks, chains, literally just make it look like a storage warehouse full of iron crates. That way it's easy, convenient, and it looks, different than what I normally do. I still have my potion farm, but I might end up relocating this. Just because if I have, like 20 levels on this thing, I could probably turn this into a crafting level, this into a residential level. This could be potion farming, this could be storage, I don't know. But for now, I'll just leave it as is. One thing also is I took out all the trees because I kind of want to get creative with the painting of the trees, but I didn't want to spend the time to do that. And if we come over here, you may have noticed that the hill is gone. There used to be a big hill I have to walk over. I got rid of it because I did this. That's right, it's a giant cave. It's actually a divider. It goes all the way around because in my very first serious playthrough of Terraria, where I actually tried to beat the game, this is what I did. I took my starting area and I cut it off from the rest of the world for a corruption spread. This I did just because it's been a long time and I kind of wanted to recreate it. Eventually I'll probably mine out all these walls so it looks like a floating island, but for now, it's what it is. And I painted the grass just because, that's a nice little finishing touch that takes it from Sorry about that, or will interrupt me again at a time I don't have any cash on me. So as I was saying, I painted the grass blue because it's a nice little feature that ties it all together. For instance, if you come over here, actually teleporting faster, it just looks like your typical Terraria world. And yes, I got rid of the trees because, again, I want to... Well, this could be a building area, so I left it blank. But over here, it looks like typical Terraria. Where if you come over here now, it looks completely different. It has a unique aesthetic, and that's why I like the fact that you can paint the grass. Again, I'll experiment with putting trees in, but yeah, so this is our home, and because I moved the stylist in here, I can now get back to building regular houses. Up next, probably the Dryad. So that's what I did at the beginning area, but I did more than that. So if you'll please follow me, I mean I guess you kind of have to, but our good friend Collector here will speed up. I really need to get a pylon system in. Here we go, back at the goblins. No, I didn't do anything to the goblin, but I did have some fun underneath, in our little Arctic area. Because if you remember, I said, hey, I was going to make a fishing hole and do some fishing. Well, after a lot of effort, and a lot of time, I created a fishing area. Yeah, all I did was mine this out, square it off, and use the infinite bucket trick to fill up with water. But, as you can see, it's safe, secure, and effective because this is all the material I had, but I got a couple minnows for food, but I got one double cod and a few armored cavefish. So cool, potion crafting is going to be easier. And yeah, this took a while to mine just because I don't have the fastest mining, but it was pretty easy. Died a few times. Whatever. Now, for the main thing that took me forever to do besides, mining all this out, which, by the way, I spent quite a few bucks for my gnomes on bombs. That's how I took care of a lot of this mining. But the main thing I accomplished off camera, besides, figure out where everybody's going to live. By the way, I know I mentioned it, but yeah, I moved the guy's house, made it a little bit bigger, because this is where I'm going to put the rest of the plains, basic, whatever you want to call them, area. The way I planned it out is here's the ocean, here I can put the plains, just so, I have more coverage. Over here's the desert, where I'm going to put, the desert dwellers, and I have the goblin. Then over here, I'm going to have the hallowed, because I'm thinking, up here, making the glowing mushroom biome, because I always do that. And then I have jungle right over here, and I can just teleport to the other ocean. So it evenly spaces it out. In fact, if I zoom out more, you can see, ocean, plains, desert, Arctic, nothing, base, hallowed, hallowed. Then up here will be the glowstone and then the jungle. And then of course you can teleport to either ocean with the cell phone, so yeah, it spaces out perfectly to be able to find any location quickly. And then of course down here we have our underground. But that's always underground. Alright, speaking of jungle, let me get over there real quick. I love the Rod of Discord / Harmony. So useful. So rare to get. To be fair, I got lucky when I got mine. Kind of makes up for all the other bad luck I had. Alright, a little bit more. There we are. So here we are in the jungle. We've been here several times. I mean, the collector hasn't, but we have. Because I went and made arena for the bee. And I found some honey right next to it, so it worked out. This took me so long to build. And I didn't get lucky and get a Beezor before anybody asks. I did not. Alright, where was the arena? Should be a little bit further down here. It wasn't that deep, but here we are. Our beautiful arena. As you can see, I made it plenty big. Simply because of our sand gun. I only have 2 levels because of the sand gun. See, I can fight the queen bee down here. If there's too much sand, I can just move it up here. And if I shoot up, it can get caught up here. That's the basic reasoning behind it. It took a while, a lot of deaths, but it also works as a nifty little farm for Beezors. Not the best, but it could be worse. As you can see, this is where I collected everything I found. I got a Nature's Gift for magic, found a sky blue flower for dyes. I'm like, okay, it works, this should work. Now I need some honey. I literally found honey right here. If there's honey, there's a bee, which means our first fight is on the game. I don't have to craft the boss summon. So I can scoop up a little bit of honey just to finish off the arena. And because it's literally right here, there's the... Ooh, that would've been bad. The bee is right here, so I just gotta loop around, and guess what? I'm in the arena. So first fight's on the game. Hopefully we can do it. I got some honey. Gotta move my other things over from the Mecha Vtuber arena, but... yeah, this took me a very long time to do. Very long time. But there is one more thing I did off camera. Something I've been meaning to do for a long time, and that is make a javelin farm. Now, it's not the most effective because I really didn't want to do all the planning out and counting each individual block and all that nonsense I normally do. But as you can see, we have our sapphire tree farm. We have our little friend here. I didn't plan this next part out, but here we have our javelin arena. As you can see, very big, very spacious, buckets of lava, glass walls. I use glass because I like it. And it works. It's not the fastest, but it works. Meaning that I can just sit in this box and let time pass infinitely until I get some javelins. To be fair, I probably won't need this anymore, so I'll probably end up just converting part of it for the underground, because I still have to have room for the dye, or not the dye tree, or the clothier and one person, but to be fair, I can also put that on the left side. So, yeah, nothing to worry about there, but that's everything I did off camera. And again, I did this so that I can spend the next few episodes just doing boss fights and making progress. So, I want to hear your opinion. Did I do a good job? Did I do a horrible job? What do you like? What do you dislike? And again, sorry about another filler episode, but next episode, it's boss fight time. Hopefully, if I can find a beeswax between now and then. But yeah, I'm proud of this, and don't worry, Orba will also be back next week. He has something he wanted to do, so I'll let him do it. I'm not a taskmaster. Sorry about that, another interruption from Orbo. He just wanted me to remind you that he will be back next week. So yeah, that's the episode. What do you think? Like my house? I'm really proud of this one, because of how I've integrated the roofs. But yeah, I'd love to hear your opinion, and next episode, Queen Bee, depending on how we do, might have to fight a few of them, then Skeletron, then Wall of Flesh, then Hard Mode, then you get the idea. Ooh, I can't wait. Maybe because I too am sick of these filler episodes. That's why I did all this work off camera. Well, that was a lot of fun, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed gaming. This has been TheMechanist, logging off. Until next time.